to make a spreadsheet.
I can enjoy it to the end, though.
Yeah. Been out?
Do we have anything to reference, Ann, from the report
2 weeks.
or that was sent to us?
It was just a spreadsheet in case you wanted to know it.
So there was a spreadsheet and then there was the charts and graphs.
Carolyn and I were
Yeah, I
dying.
didn't
We were dying.
print any of that out. but
Yeah,
that's,
that was 5 stories.
But that was.
I was
the
gonna
stuff
print
that
it, but
was
between
passed
the
out.
two, it was quite a few pages and,
Yeah, the spreadsheet I don't think was meant to be printed out, that's more like manipulating data, and that was just, I just got that, that's like
Don't forget a
a
beer.
working list tool.
right.
Doesn't really-
Well, there was one section where cultural arts was in high numbers.
All right, we
It
can
wasn't the
start.
top, that's what I was looking to reference, so I'll see if I can find it.
Gonna wait 5 minutes,
Yeah,
but
how was it?
everybody's
It
here.
was awesome.
It looks like it.
Oh,
I was calculating a lot of them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Kids and everybody.
Good, everybody's good. Everybody's good.
Right, right.
It was a
Yeah.
good expensive.
This has always been an
Yeah.
issue because,
Diesel.
Okay.
Diesel pops when you come back.
It is whatever time it is, Ann, 6:02. Welcome to everybody to the Monday, August 8th meeting of the Leisure Services Advisory Board. Nice to see everybody. Hope everybody got here safely and dry. Welcome to anybody that's watching online. We thank you for your interest. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Steve, first meeting, lead us off.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Also with us, of course, we have Chip, John, and Ann. And in the absence of any citizens, we will forego the open forum. So we have an extra half hour to play with.
Right.
Half hour that was allotted for that. First item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from our May meeting. I trust you had a chance to look at it at home. If not, we have it here. Comments, suggestions, additions, corrections?
I don't know if I can say anything.
Why not?
Yes,
Andrew Knapp was here that time when I was here. Was he not on here?
Is that a council meeting or a board
That's
meeting?
council.
That was council meeting,
That's a
maybe.
council meeting, when you were
Or
kind
you
of
were
approved.
All right, she-
Yes.
This is
That's,
the-
you can
this is-
always ask and we'll help or figure it out.
Yeah, well, you had a stump there for a minute there. Good job, Sue. Yeah,
Hey, Jackson.
these are the minutes from our May meeting, not the city council meeting. Hey, Jackson, how are you? Okay, any corrections, additions, comments?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from Monday, May 9th, 2022, as is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. Okay, next we have our leisure services learning moment, or I'm sorry, our monthly reports, project updates, and upcoming events.
All right, so typically summer is a slower time for us. Activities shift. We don't do as many special events, obviously, because of the weather, and a lot of the focus shifts to summer camp. So from the last couple of reports that were sent, some of the highlights included back in May we had a successful Sunset Sounds with 160. We had a movie in the park with around 100. Our adult fishing derby back then was popular. We had 70 in that fishing derby, so that was pretty cool. John started up a new program a couple months ago. It's called Stargazers, and it takes place at Veterans Memorial Park. And we have a lot of astronomers that come out. They have telescopes, and they kind of just look at the planets and the moon and some of the different constellations. And it's come to be pretty popular. He had a dozen the last time we did it, but what was your highest number? Probably.
We had we had a day where we actually had professional astronomers come out with their telescopes, and they set up, and one of them was just computerized. It was amazing. We had probably somewhere around 25 people come out that night. So it's pretty, it's neat, and we're picking up a lot of just street traffic. People that are just going out for their walk, and then they're hanging out with us for like a half an hour or 45 minutes. So it's pretty cool.
Getting the word out.
Yeah, so that's a neat program. That kind of goes along with Oldsmar in Orbit, which, you know, is down in the park at Ariels Park and some of the other locations around town in our parks. Let's see, summer camp. Tomorrow is the last day of summer camp. Another 10-week journey is almost in the books. We had all 75 spots were filled for camp. Bryn Frazier ran the camp this year. She did an outstanding job. And John can attest to that with the creativity and programming, field trips, activities. Ooh, tomorrow's the last day, I shouldn't say it, but I didn't get one phone call from a complaint. So, and maybe that's him just filtering out the buff. He's the buffer for me. But I just say I didn't get a phone call yet this summer, so that's a good thing. And then, of course, for those of you who were there, we had our BMX grand opening last month with over 600 people in attendance. It was
Nice
amazing,
showing for that,
amazing,
yes.
amazing night, and got cut short by the rain and the storms that came in. Not so much the rain, but the lightning, of course. But so that's kind of really not too much to highlight because of the time of year. Moving on to the project updates, the baseball field renovation project continues. All of the sod has been laid. The fields were laser graded. The sod's laid. It's growing in now. I've been in touch with Oldsmar Little League this morning, just giving them updates. The vendor returns tomorrow to do the clay work, and once the clay work is finished, they'll be able to get back out on the fields. So we're hoping within the next 2 weeks that the vendor has completed that job and they can get back out and play ball. It's coinciding right about the time where they should be starting. So it looks to be like on task. After we have after the clay is done and all that's finished and we get the kids back out on the fields, we'll continue with the other portions of the project. We're installing new windscreen. We're going to be installing scorers tables, new scoreboards on all of the fields, which I know is really desired by the league. It's about time. The fiscal year starts October 1st the way the money was budgeted. $300,000 in this year to get the major part of the project, the fields, done, and then the other $100,000 will then go towards the scoreboards and the other amenities that go along with that. And we plan on revitalizing the pitching and warm-up areas, replacing the sheds out there. So there is still some more work. It's not like a big hoop-de-da grand opening kind of thing that's going to happen. We just got to get them back out on the field right now. So that's our goal, and that's really the main project that we're working on now that BMX has been completed.
You can get back on with life again now, right?
That's never, there's always something. Let's see, upcoming events. I only have 2 on my books here. I just said that we're gearing up for the events that start to take place in September. Once the heat kind of goes away a little bit, John and his staff are working diligently on the planning and organization for that. And then we do have the Armadillo Run, which we partner with the Rotary Club. That's coming up on August the 22nd.
Why is it in August?
Because
No
they
one
want to
wants
be,
to do
they
a
want to be
5K.
first. They want to be first, but it's early. It's early. What's it?
August 27th.
Did I say the wrong date? Did I say the 22nd? Oh, 27th.
Didn't it used to be in December?
It's flipped around. They've had, it used to be in March.
It used to be with one of the
and then it
events
was- I think it was-
also,
wasn't
yeah.
it in March before, and then it went to December, and then
Yeah, I
went
think
to
it went with
August.
March with the chamber festivals for March, Oldsmar days and stuff, and then they switched it off of there, and they've moved it around a bit.
Yeah. So that's coming up, and that's about all I have. It's a short one this month.
Okay, thank you, Chip.
Yes.
Sir, were you here for anything for the open forum?
Yes, I was. Thank you.
Please state your name and address for the record. And
Orlando Pena. I live in where do I live? But I'm the director of Ovation Dance Academy of Tampa, and we just finished doing this weekend 101 Dalmatians and Matilda Jr., which we had our Mrs. Trumbull in, as well as a little Dalmatians in the show. And I was here last week, and I just wanted to introduce myself. I moved here from New York in 2020. I had a studio in New York for 24 years. I currently have kids on Broadway from there and traveling, so I'm bringing the arts to Tampa. On Saturday, we're doing auditions for Frozen for juniors from 5-year-olds to 18. And so I know that there's a lot of talk in Oldsmar for a theater, so I'm here at your disposal to pick my brain. So, and that's pretty much it.
questions, anybody?
questions.
Wonderful. Well, a pleasure to finally meet you. I'm Suda with Miss Suda's
Oh, nice to meet
Dancers
you.
and the Opal Theater, so a pleasure to meet you formally.
Likewise.
And you and I need to chat and get together on some of our things, because that's my goal, is to bring arts to the community in the city of Oldsmar, and we extend out into Tampa, and I think that's great, so.
Excellent, thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
I'm at, right next to Lowe's, just my one room, just starting off and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, my wife brought my daughter by there, just to swing by, because she was in Tampa Bay Dance Academy for a
Yeah.
while, and then
Oh,
they
okay.
decided to change that.
Well, we're
and-
starting classes on Saturday, so have her give me a call. My website's ovationsdanceoftampa.com. My bio's there and everything that you need to know about the studio. But
What a
I'd
shock,
love
Sue, that you have a
Oldsmar.
connection. I'm shocked.
We
Yeah, there you
do,
go.
we do.
Yes.
I
We
think
have
you've
some
probably
kids
heard, I've run
crossing.
the dance program for 25 years for the city of Oldsmar, so that's
Awesome.
my history. But we'll chat more about that.
That's
I'd like to work
wonderful.
together on some projects in the future.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carolina.
Okay, now my hand was up for monthly reports. Public art project. I don't know if you have any updates on that, but I see we're moving along on it.
I don't have direct involvement with it. I'm just as.
I
like,
do.
you-
So shall I share?
I'm kind of just on the committee
And
as
Ann or
else.
anybody else that's got any other information, if I'm incorrect, I do believe they are receiving contestants, for lack of a better term, artists, on the site that is set up to look for artists. I believe we're getting it narrowed down now to choosing our top 3. The artwork, I believe, has been chosen to go in, for lack of a better term, the BMX park area, if I understand correctly. I don't know that a location in that space has been chosen yet. And I do believe that the community voted for something interactive and lit, possibly as well. So you should be hearing some more coming up about that. I understand we're supposed to be getting together very soon to review how to look at all the applications online, I think is the way they've set it up, so that we don't have to all sit in a room and review 200 applications type of thing. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I think that's very exciting for art in our community, and the next art project coming out. Also, because I'm also a chamber member, I will remind us that the second Fridays are coming back again in September. So we will be back gearing up with our second Friday events. The dancers and theater will be there as always, and they have a great crowd. And I know Mark and the chamber have been working to build that. We were kind of grateful they took the summer off, because we did the summer, I think, last year, and it's pretty hot. So and it gave us all a break, or the ones that are running the tents every time. So I really appreciated that. So I wanted to add those 2 things in also. And as long as we're on upcoming events, August 20th, down at the park, is Miss Suda's Dancers Recital. That's a free performance at 5 p.m. And the dancers are doing summer fun. I tried to remember the title off the top of my head, and I didn't have it. We've got solos, duets, big groups. The 8 and Up is doing From Hair, Aquarius. And they have all kinds of great pieces for our upcoming show on the 20th. It should only last about 45 minutes long, and our dancers are very proud to get into that. And of course, early notice to remind everybody about Moana Junior coming up on October 15th. That will be at 7 p.m. with the vendors opening at 6 p.m. Everything again at RE Olds Park. It is also a free event. And we hope you guys can help us pass the word. OFOTA.org or opaltheater.com has all the information about the performance and reminders. And you'll see us with our kids hawking postcards at every event that comes up in the next 2 months. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next item is our Leisure Services Learning Moment.
Had it for the end, but as long as we were doing events.
So, John Lindsay, Leisure Service Supervisor. So last time we were here, I gave you the learning moment about the spray park, right? So I'm literally working on the spray park as I'm sitting here. So that's
We gotta get you a bigger phone, John.
I can't see it. I think it's.
I think he has a tablet too, but I'm laughing because he's trying
I'm
to see
pretty
it.
sure it's working right.
And they're gonna
So-
get a close-up of your phone,
I
just,
don't know.
just for the audience viewing, that we know
We either
that.
have just the right amount of chlorine in there or something's wrong. I'm not sure. Don't go to the spray park right now.
Thank you, videographers.
So to kind of tag along on what Chip was talking about with summer camp, that's going to be our learning moment today. So I wanted to make sure that everybody kind of got a grasp of what goes into doing a summer camp. It's 10 weeks. We do most of the work for summer camp a good 7 months before those 10 weeks start. So our staff with Bryn and Leonard Newby and Emily Pennington and Eric Pavlica and Noah, Jason, Cam, myself, it's an all hands on deck type of a program. But we have 4 dedicated counselors. I think next year we're going to try to get 5 dedicated counselors. Planting the seed. We had 12 volunteers, and then, of course, like I mentioned, our city staff. We have 75 campers. We always have a wait list. It's one of those moments where it's one of those things where you get into it, and it's hard work. It's really hard work, and you almost can't wait for it to end until it does. And then you're like, oh, I wish it hadn't ended yet. You know, all these little faces, you start to be like, oh, I'm gonna miss yelling at you. Come back. But tomorrow's the official last day. We kind of had a drop off from last week already because the kids are getting ready for school. But we did a lot of stuff: daily arts and crafts, trips to Oldsmar parks, weekly movies, which the kids love. Fridays at the spray park. We did some in-house field trips, which were pretty cool. We had people come in, color wheels, which is basically an art class on wheels, and then Challenger Island, which is a STEM class, where they brought these massive snakes in that I wasn't there that day.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm okay. I didn't miss anything. But the kids loved it. We got tons of pictures. We did a lot of social media. We got it out there. Did some on-the-road field trips, Old McMickey's Farm, the Highland Aquatic Center in Largo, CC's and beyond. Even our fire station, we took the kids to the fire station 54, and they took the aerial truck and they put the hose or the little cannon that they have on the end of it and just shot water down on the basketball court, and they just loved it. They just sat there all day. Dress up days, lots of themes. I'm real proud of my staff. I think they did an amazing job. But it takes a lot of work and a lot of resources, but it also takes a lot of thought and a lot of care. And again, real proud of my staff.
Might it be wiser to end it a few days before school starts?
Well, our Camp Oldsmar literally starts the day after school gets out, and it stops the day before school starts. Wow. Most camps in the area don't do that.
Yeah.
They kind of do it, you know, there's that break. We serve a purpose. I mean, we know why we're there. It's childcare. We get it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of why our camp's always full.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. And a waiting list.
And it has a wait list.
Mm-hmm. Always have a wait list.
Yeah.
How big was the wait list?
We, this year we had 12, I think, on the wait
I was gonna
list.
say 8 to 12.
Doesn't it
on a
fill up
regular
within
basis,
30
yeah.
minutes
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah,
That's-
it's,
Oh, my friends.
we had, we sold it in 2 sessions, so 5 weeks and 5 weeks. The first, I think the first 5-week session was sold out 3 days after it came out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So another counselor would have taken those 12, would have been able to take those 12 kids.
And no, it's a space issue. The fifth counselor, because here's what we deal with. We live in reality.
Okay.
So we deal with COVID. So we have counselors that are out with COVID. We have staff that are out with COVID. So it's a staffing issue. And in order to provide the best service, we have to make sure that we have X amount of staff for campers. So that fifth counselor would really be nice because now
Give you a
we
little
can-
flexibility.
A little bit
Yep.
more here and there and stuff. And the volunteers, we didn't always have 12 volunteers. So sometimes we had 12, sometimes we had 6. Today we had none, but you know, they're getting ready to go back to school, so we get that.
Just a couple things. What are the hours, the times that they run? Is it like
It's
7
7
a.m. to 5?
a.m. until 6 p.m. and we have some parents that bring their
I
kids.
wanted
at
them to
7
know
a.m. and
because
pick
I
them
knew
up
it
at
was
6
long.
p.m. Yeah.
That's a long day.
Is that 11 hours or something?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a full day. Also, since you start 7 weeks before, I assume you're gearing up to start for next year?
7
months, I mean,
months before,
7
yeah.
months before, you're gearing up to start for next year already, right?
We will do a debrief. What I tend to do with my events is I debrief them so that we can figure out what we did right, what we didn't do well.
Sure, what you can
And
improve,
then
what you can add.
you know, we're kind of in that area now where we're finishing up the the stuff that we're getting ready to jump into, our winter programming and all that. So we'll have about a month, 2 months where we're not talking camps, and then we're right back into it.
Give you that much
Because,
time off.
well, we still have a fall camp coming up and a winter camp coming
Of
up.
course,
So we've got
of
those
course.
camps too.
And John and Chip, I'll remind you both, as it hopefully trickles down, that we consider instigating back into having a theater or dance come in for 1 hour. I know I talked to both of you about that. It's really great to reach 75 kids with programs that are actually within the building right there as well. And we had done this a number of years ago and got out of the habit of it, so we're going to try to work together and get those kind of opportunities back available as well. Thank you. That was all I had.
Would you ever consider doing half-day camps, or are you always going to do full? Because I know myself and other people would.
We have specialty camps. We have some specialty camps that we
Right.
do, which are
Or-
quasi
Well,
half-day
they have
camps.
had
The
balloons
problem that
and
we have
everything.
with doing half-day camps in Camp Oldsmar is now we've got an empty space for half the camp, or half of that day. So we can't guarantee that we're always going to fill that. So I think it's just safer for us to just do a whole day camp there instead of trying to,
Or at least for now.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
revisit
just-
it.
it's kind of, and if the parents want to take them out for half the day, that's completely on them if they want to do
But then
that.
we're losing money.
Well,
What age groups are you looking for volunteers?
volunteers, usually we like high school age kids. So you got to be, some kids are younger that are a little bit more mature, some are older that I ask not to come back. So there's,
Does that count towards their community service hours?
they can get bright futures for that, yeah, absolutely.
And they have to have completed kindergarten, right, too?
You have to be in kindergarten. You have
And-
to be in
You don't have to
kindergarten.
complete it, you just have to
Yeah,
be in
so
it.
you've got to be old enough to,
So you might have some 4-year-olds?
no, you have to be, you
'Cause
have
some
to
are 4
be,
before they start
you have to
kindergarten.
complete, I think you have to be done with kindergarten.
That's what I meant.
So
Yeah.
moving on to
Kindergarten,
first
yeah.
grade.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are some 4-year-olds
Yeah.
that start at kindergarten based on their birthdays.
Yeah.
I was one of those.
Summer babies.
Great.
Thank you,
John.
John.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, next item I see says we are to discuss naming play areas at Ari Olds Park.
So that was something I asked to be on the agenda.
Okay.
My reasoning behind that is because Ariel's Park is huge. There's, 4 to 5 sections. You have that first section right in the beginning before the big slides. It has like a little ice cream section to sell things and some other stuff. And then you have the big slides and swings. Then you have the big grassy area with the stage. And then you have the little parking lot. Next to the parking lot's the little toddler area. And next to that is some shelters and some sand volleyball area with like a jungle gym, and then another little grassy area. So it's hard sometimes when you're asking people, let's meet at Ariel's Park. Where? Next to the little playground next to the stage. And if we could just think of a name that's a little bit more concise and it's easier to meet. So I just run into that problem sometimes with people because they don't know where to meet. I don't know if you've ran into that problem with theater, like they don't know where the stage is.
Well, luckily, I tell them all to go to the stage, but is there anything that can be done to consider that, to look at the park as an overall view and look at breaking it up into sections? Is that something that has to run all the way through council and everything, or is that something that you guys can?
It's not necessarily, you're not talking about like a person's name, you're just talking about like
A
the
label.
jellyfish area.
Yeah, or, jellyfish area, or West End, or whatever,
you
yeah.
want, or starfish, or.
Well, I
yeah.
think there are some names already, like, I think it's called Tot Lot by some people, but it's not official.
So if it's not a naming thing, it's something we could probably do internally, because we wouldn't be going to council to rename anything for an individual.
How about just a number?
Colors, maybe a color?
Color? Yeah.
Yeah. We can,
Red zone, green zone.
Careful, you're in the green zone.
we can look at that. I mean, from our staffing standpoint, we can kind of come up with something. Maybe we can shoot something out.
Or maybe even, if we can get an overview that can be passed out to the board
Yeah.
next meeting,
Yeah.
that we can look at it all from
Yeah.
the top and say, oh, yeah, I see how, you can say the volleyball courts, but there's no signage, you have to drive back and forth to find it. It's a great large, it's a great large park and a great large area. Like I said, for me, I only have to tell them to go to the stage, so that one's pretty obvious. But that may be,
Hopefully.
that one may be, Elizabeth Amphitheater stage area, but maybe not use the names, although the name is on the stage,
Right.
so. So let's see if we can maybe table that and look at a top view, and you guys talk about it internally to see if that's something that's even optional.
Yeah, we'll see if that's something that's optional and try to get a little bit creative with it too, so.
Okay, thank you.
Good suggestion, Amber.
I would recommend some kind of a map at the parking areas.
That's what I'm asking them to provide for us.
That would be,
Yeah, so that we can actually look down on a Google Maps of the park area from one end to the other, and we'll be able to
And
see.
I think what Ken was saying is once we've figured it out, put it in place, whenever you do park, there should be a directory.
Oh, yeah,
some kind
yeah,
of a little
yeah, oh, yeah,
sign
I'm
to
sorry,
pull up,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of directory is to come down some of the main streets, this side, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife didn't even know, she didn't know that the toddler park was down there. So I would tell her all the time, I go, oh, yeah, I took the kids to Orioles and we went to the toddler park. And she's like, there's a toddler park?
Yeah.
You gotta keep going that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Don't
mean,
let the
even
kids
for the,
climb up. Don't let the 3-year-old climb up the wall there.
the Easter egg hunt, I know like a lot of people didn't know where to go for that,
Nope.
so.
And that may be some of the things we think about as we get closer on something like this is, you know, what happens down there in certain areas and stuff too. I mean, when you go for Oldsmar Days, you know where the carnival section is and you know where the band section is, you know, so that may play some parts into it as well.
We're gonna have something for November?
Yes.
Chip, okay. All righty, discuss parking options for non-residents.
This was another item asked to be on the agenda.
Okay.
Mainly the spray park. I know I have a lot of friends that live in Safety Harbor, West Chase, that love to use that spray park, but they always have to pay $5. And when you have kids, sometimes they're just not having a good day, so you might only be there for 10 minutes and they paid $5. So a lot of them had said they would pay, you know, a seasonal pass or annual pass, and maybe we could think of what's best and think of a fee, you know, $30, $50, and they said they'd all be willing to pay that instead of paying $5 each time.
So the seasonal passes we have that apply like to the rec center and cross-platform between cities, we don't have anything like that for our parking. We only have
That's
it for-
correct.
Okay, all right.
I mean, our residential rate is,
Yeah, it's $2. It's
bargain,
great for us,
yeah.
so.
Yeah,
And that's because all of you pay taxes that go towards the funding of
right,
that.
right, so, yes,
So you have to keep that in mind.
right.
Even
The
if
other-
you don't use the park or parking, you're still paying
Amber,
for
do
it.
you think something like?
The other thing I can say on the other side of the coin is someone who goes in there on Wednesdays and Thursdays, even earlies or earlier in the day and stuff, there's no parking. Even though we added the 10 spaces in, which I still thank you and applaud. You know, I had one mom say, hey, I'm parked over here across the street where it says no parking. I said, well, did you go all the way down the end? She said, yeah, I did. I mean, it's still, you know, when we're full inside the building, there's limited parking.
Right.
So then it becomes, and again, most of that is in the evening, but we do have a crossover now and then as well, just not as much, so. I don't know, that one, I gave my suggestion on the last one, that one's up to you guys to
Do you have a ballpark figure on what is taken in from non-residents for parking?
I know that we don't have a designation, but I know that our parking revenue from April to June, April, May, the 3-month period was $4,300 roughly.
But we don't have an idea of how many people came through at that time to divide that by?
5 by 5?
I would have,
Well, in theory, it would be divided by 5 if everybody's paying $5, unless they're
If you do it
residents.
at the, if you do it at
Well,
the,
and the
at resident rate,
Right,
you know what I mean?
Residents' money won't show up.
right, gotcha.
and that parking pass is good for the beach as well.
Yeah.
So,
So that's
You open-
included in that number.
yeah, so you're opening, 2 locations.
What do you think is a reasonable annual non-resident sticker price?
Say somewhere between $30, $50. Can go more.
Too low,
Do you have the ability to sell that?
I mean, I think some people would even go
To
75.
sell a pass, a non-resident pass?
Yeah.
Sure, we can
A
create.
non-resident parking pass?
We'd have to
Is that,
go through council for approval because
we don't have anything like that though right now, even
No,
for the parks
no,
down there or
no,
anything else, okay? All right, I think that'd be something that would,
Like, kick back that 4,300. The 4,300 is from the parking.
That's just from the parking meter at Cypress
Cypress.
Forest.
Oh, just
That's just Cypress alone.
Oh,
Not Mobley, Bayou Beach Park.
yeah.
Wow.
and-
Yeah.
So if you start giving away $30 annual passes, that would,
You might see the revenue drop. I mean,
Yeah.
more people might buy it, but then again, there's
Chip seemed to
There is some
indicate that-
benefit to being an Oldsmar resident.
Yeah.
Chip
Yes.
Space said that that was a low price.
Okay, up it.
And I do agree, as an Oldsmar resident, it's nice that we get the benefit of
Right.
that too,
What it also does too, especially at the beach, is it regulates the amount of traffic and cars. So some people, hey, let's go to Oldsmar Beach, and it's like, I don't feel like paying $5.
One of the biggest
It's like,
complaints I
okay,
used to hear people say of Oldsmar Beach that I didn't experience was so many out-of-towners came to our beach.
and that's kind
And
of
that was about the time that we installed doing parking.
correct. Correct.
$50.
Yeah, but you'd also lose revenue on the Oldsmar parking side, because at the $2 rate, we're all still paying $2. But if you tell me that we can get a $25 or $30 pass, I mean, it's a win-win. If I'm gonna park 10 times, it's a win-win for me.
Right, but if you're parking there 20 times and paying $5 a time and you get it
That's what
for a
I'm saying.
10-time price, yeah.
Now, keep in mind, the city also, for the spray park, that was a $400,000 project that the city built with your money.
That lives in Oldsmar.
Who lives in Oldsmar, our portion of that was $191,000 of taxpayer money. And again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't accommodate non-residents. I'm just saying we got to be careful how we approach that, because somebody who doesn't use the park probably doesn't go to the spray park on a consistent basis. I don't, but he still paid for it.
Right. Oh, no, I'm on your side on this one.
I would say if you considered it, it would have to be a higher fee.
I would say that as
Yeah.
well.
Or
If we,
you could do like a package, like instead of like a annual all year, you could do like a discounted flat for 5 parks.
now that's only enforced April through October, because that's when the spray
The
park
spray
is
park.
open.
Right.
Outside of those times, the pass is not required.
Okay.
It's almost like an admission fee to go to
Yeah,
the spray
yeah.
park, basically.
Are you talking about a dual sticker or just a flat rate for the spray park parking?
It's more for the spray park, I would say. I mean, you could
How about something just for that?
Yeah, I would be for that too,
Anybody?
for high price.
I think city would have
Have
to,
to, it's just something I've observed with other friends.
Anybody?
I think it's something you guys would have to talk about with staff and everything else, and then get back to us and say, yeah, it is an
definitely-
option, or no, it's not, because this is the benefit of living in an Oldsmar.
Right, and we'd have to do some research in order to find out what makes sense, financially, and then whatever was decided, if we were to go forward with a fee,
Right, I would
we'd have
bet,
to go to council for
I
approval.
would bet Largo does not offer a special fee to park at their spray parks and things like that. It's more for the residents, and then the others have
I
to
don't
pay.
think there is a.
So knowing
parking
Chip and
fee.
his contacts, you can check at some other places too and see if anybody does offer any special passes for non-residents.
Largo doesn't, there's no parking, but there is a fee to get in.
Yeah, there's an admission fee to those other parks.
Right.
What is that, do we know what that admission fee is?
Not off the
I
top
don't know
of
off the
Spray
top of my
park
head.
aficionado, so it's.
I mean, for Largo, for a Largo resident, it was cheaper, and then there was a higher
Sure.
price for a non-resident.
Right.
And then I don't think Dunedin had one.
I don't know that Tarpon has a
Tarpon
parking
doesn't,
fee.
and they've changed the rules so many times with COVID. You could only have 20-something people in there at one point, and then they dropped that, so.
Yeah.
I haven't really gone this summer, so.
People showed up. I was like, can I get my kids in?
All right, some food for thought for
So
November?
research it, guys, and let us know what the research results are, I guess.
All right, Amber, since you're on a roll, take the
One.
next, the survey results. Everybody have all the stats and numbers?
But some is scribbled, because I was.
So kind of what we're wanting to try to do here is, obviously you guys did a great job going out to solicit responses to the survey, and John's done a good job putting that information together in raw form, and then kind of also providing the printout here that came from SurveyMonkey. John's had an opportunity to review, he's reviewed it with his staff, and kind of we just want to get your feedback on what you guys see from the survey results, and because what this will do is this will help to provide direction to the staff for future programming. So we just want to get your feedback on this, and John can provide any feedback that he's had as well.
On the first question about what are the most important amenities in a park, I noticed that like the outdoor exercise equipment got 17 votes, if you will, or 17 pluses. Is that something that is costly, or could we eliminate that, or is it,
That's you, not
are they just relics sitting there?
So we have plans in future budgets to replace some of the equipment that's out there. Part of the equipment, or some of that equipment is associated with grant
I was
projects.
just gonna say with grants, yeah.
So it was a requirement as a scoring mechanism, so they would need to be replaced. But it doesn't have to be replaced in the exact form that it's in currently.
Okay, so you could change them, pretty much?
So what we're looking at, what we were looking at for the future budgets was to more of like a universal station. So instead of them
yeah.
spaced out, they would be in one particular area, and then I'm hoping to be able to cover them with like a sunshade potentially, and that way it'll protect them from the elements. And then if you won't be working out in the
It's
blazing
like
sun.
you make an outdoor gym, pretty much.
Yeah, it's an outdoor, basically an outdoor gym. It's a smaller unit, but it
Well, the other thing is we've never really had any success getting anyone to run regular classes on them either. We've had some here and there, some people that just used it, or a
Right.
couple of small things that started, but
Right.
that's, it would be nice if we've got it, and if it is grants, that not only do we consider where it goes, but in your future programming, looking for some trainers that will train and use that equipment.
Yeah.
You were going by question, Ken? What was your next one?
Amber, you go.
Amber, whichever.
I'm sorry, Amber, go ahead.
We're just looking at question 1, what the important amenities are. I mean, the big one was playgrounds. I think we have plenty, so, but it's good that people.
A lot of people aren't getting to the ones we have or want more.
So I don't think we need more for younger kids. Anything else anyone wants to talk about?
I think question 1 was pretty, like, you would think that picnic shelters, playgrounds would be probably the biggest features that people.
Yeah, I think the people that took the survey, they hit the big ticket items.
Yeah.
That we expected to see.
And I mean, we went, like, when I was doing the survey, I was going mostly to playgrounds, so of course they're gonna say yes. This is the most important thing to me. I mean, so talking about the survey overall, I think it was a good start, but still, I don't think it hits everywhere because, like I said, I mostly went to playgrounds, so everyone's gonna.
Yeah, that,
Find things
if
that
you
are important for them in that
If you
area.
remember back when we went through that spreadsheet, we
Yes.
went to different, we specifically picked out certain areas to get a snapshot of the entire city. So we had some at the baseball and softball fields, we had some at the parks, at the spray ground, at some of the special events. So we tried to really hit the full gamut of what we have out there and get a full picture.
I love that skate parks came back up again.
Yeah, I think what you're going to find is, as we get deeper into this, that it's going to be easy to see where these surveys were taken.
Right, and that's.
It's not, you don't see it at the first question, but when we get to the end, when we get to question 5, a little bit deeper, you're going to start to see a pattern. I'm not going to tell you what that pattern is. You're going to figure that out yourself. But you're going to see a pattern, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. But I think we need, this is an hors d'oeuvre. This
Yeah,
survey.
now we gotta.
There's a lot more information that can be garnered than what
Yeah,
we have.
and I do, I think you got a lot of good stuff. Couple of things that I took away, there was some good suggestions of programs that I didn't list them, I didn't copy them all down, but I thought there were some good ideas of programs in there in addition to what we currently have. Yeah, I was happy to see that culture and events was 4th position and not last, so.
It depends on where you're looking, but yeah, the
Yes.
question 5, yeah, you got that
Yes,
nailed.
right. So it was nice to see that, and what was the other thing I took away from just my skimming through everything?
The next graph is, where do you find your information?
Yeah, this is common. This one right here, I have been fighting for 20+ years.
Yep.
People don't hear about our programs. And we're doing everything so much better than we've done, like I said, when I came in 20 years ago, and people would complain about that. But that is still one of the biggest issues, is getting the word to the public. So I think more of, and I hate to put this because you guys got to put somebody in the position of it, being at things like Second Friday with a booth for the city. We had instigated that for a while. Even Friends of the Arts had combined together to offer space with the magazines and things like that. At one time, some time ago, we were having all the subcontractors bring brochures, or you guys were collecting brochures from all the subcontractors. Because one thing is the events are going to hit the biggest group of people in what we call a captured audience in one spot. So just from my personal background, I think that's one thing we might add that might help improve, get the word out. Because I don't care how many times we put it in print, and everywhere that it's in print, and all the people say that they saw it in the magazine, the biggest section is they're saying they're not hearing about the programs.
And
And
also-
I
yeah.
can contest to that with, you know, even theater and dance and seeing low numbers and stuff like that, and getting people call in and they go, we didn't hear about this, you know.
We have, since the survey has come out, we have ramped up our social media posting.
Yeah.
So if you're part
Yeah,
of our
you guys
Facebook
have.
family, you'll see something new from us every day.
Yes, and I think
So
that's
there's-
huge, and I think Facebook and websites will actually, some of your biggest section was, oh, wrong one, yeah, there was, is that the right one?
Yep, Facebook.
Your Facebook, your My Oldsmar and Experience Oldsmar, so, you know, people are seeing those.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, in the next context, that, you know, they're not hearing about the events. So that's the only thing personally I could see. That is something we did before that I felt kind of worked. It's bringing our programs to the community, not necessarily
Right.
bringing our community to the programs.
And this survey, like I said, we're already seeing value in the survey because we've had the survey obviously for a while. So we've already kind of looked at the information and seen that, you know, at the time of the survey, there were 8 or 9 people that wish we had a spray park. Well, we had a spray park, so it's a matter of getting that.
But again,
Yeah,
they
and there are
didn't
other
know
things
about
like
this.
that, exactly. So
Yes.
we ramped up our advertising when we realized there was an issue with it. So that's a process that took effect immediately.
Right.
So there's a value to what you guys did here
But-
that we're
but look
already
at-
starting to realize.
Yeah, and the social media, the print media, the magazine and everything, I think has been a huge improvement for someone that's been on this path for 25 years with the city. I think it's way better over anything that we've ever done. But the only thing, like I said, a little thing here and there, like, you know, a booth with all the flyers, you know, if you've got, have volunteers even come out from the subcontractors. Ask subcontractors to be there to volunteer for a couple of hours and talk to the people coming through and stuff. I think that's an avenue we're missing in like being one-to-one with a community member
Yeah,
as opposed
there's
to.
nothing that beats that interacting with
Yeah.
people. Does the city have TikTok?
That's what I was about to say. So
Because that's
So-
a
I was
huge
just going
platform
there.
that we
what
need
we were
to
about
be
to say
on.
was the algorithm in which Facebook operates. If you don't look for that kind of stuff in your neighborhood,
You won't
it's
see
not
it.
going to throw it into your news feed.
Yeah.
So you're missing all of the people who aren't looking at that on Facebook. That algorithm's not feeding through there.
Right.
And you're missing it there, and you're going to miss it unless you're using Instagram. So you're missing.
Well, we're using all of them. We're using Instagram, we have Twitter, and we use
And
Facebook.
that's
All
at
right,
least
so as a 40-year-old guy, I'm gonna tell you, I barely use Facebook for anything. It's more Instagram and more TikTok is more where everybody's at.
Right.
So Facebook is almost a dead platform for everybody 35 kind of down.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that
Feel
so
very-
No,
I feel
absolutely.
really
that
old all of a
platform
sudden.
that platform is dead.
But I
And
think it's
so-
still needed though too,
It's
because
needed.
Yeah,
It's
it's the
needed.
parents I'm reaching
Yeah.
Right.
that are bringing their kids in, so it's a different.
What I'm
yeah.
saying to you is though, if you're looking for new people and some younger people, there are a lot of people 35 and under who do not even have Facebook. They'll laugh at you. They'll be like,
Well,
"Oh, I got Instagram or
we
Snapchat."
have-
I'm not
The
saying
Or
way we
that.
actually
TikTok.
distribute our information, we use a program called Buffer.
Okay.
And it literally, when we post something to Facebook, we also are posting it to Instagram and we're also posting it to
instant,
Twitter.
yeah,
So it's
right.
it's a 3-prong attack.
But it
And
goes
they're
back
also-
to, do we have a TikTok? Are you
don't
guys
have a
using that technology, that form? That is a very popular form of media right
And
now.
our city has so many resources that we could really be pushing out there, and we don't necessarily have to maybe, I mean, we are gonna need somebody internally to get those, videos and that content, but we could go to all of our partners, even us, Tampa Bay Kayak Anglers, we got footage that we could give to you and promote our waterways and our kayaking, channels and all that stuff. And
I've
you
provided
could-
dance
yeah.
and the theater videos.
Right, so
we're
that way
starting
it
to
helps
use.
everybody, you
And
help
when
the city helps you,
And when you
and
guys are pushing out your, that hashtag Oldsmar, all of those things
Yeah.
create that algorithm. So like for me, who is an Instagram user, anything that I'm following the hashtag Oldsmar.
Yeah.
So
That comes
anything that
up.
says hashtag Oldsmar automatically shows up. But if you don't put that hashtag Oldsmar in your post, it's not going to show up.
right.
Yeah, it won't-
And they're getting them on a
won't
lot of them, and I
Yeah.
also, the other good thing that they're doing is Facebook is being repetitive. You can't, as they know, you can't just post one time on Facebook and you're not gonna get to everybody because of the algorithms.
Right.
You have to post it 2-3 times a month. They say, I don't know, the statistics are ridiculous. It's something like 29 times a person has to see an online ad before they will act or consider acting. In print media, it's a lot lower. They say it's something like 9 times you got to get something in people's faces. But I did notice the repetitiveness because I got out of the loop for a while. And unfortunately, as a 59-year-old user who does not use TikTok, Twitter, or any of the others, I rely on Facebook. And it also keeps our history.
Right.
Okay, like for dance and theater, I can go back 5-6 years in my history on Facebook, and so I think it's a good tool, and I think the repetitiveness of it is important.
I
But
think
I
that-
agree, we have to expand.
Facebook's algorithm throws them in a situation where if you're trying to reach people,
Right.
you're not going to reach them unless they're looking
They're looking for
specifically
you.
for Oldsmar stuff.
Right, gotcha.
And until they start talking about it, now all of our phones will have tons of Oldsmar stuff in it because they're all listening to us
Of
anyway.
course.
So at the end of the day, but unless that conversation is being had, or that person is actively Googling events in
Looking for it.
Oldsmar or stuff to do in Oldsmar or stuff like that.
Well, there's also
it's not
following,
going-
there's also the following crowd
Even
that
if
is
you're
following.
even if you're following, if you're following 500 different things.
Yeah, it'll
And
throw
you
you
don't go to
off.
Oldsmar's Facebook page.
Yeah.
You're not having that come
And,
up
and
on
the
Right.
following thing, so
not gonna
just
come up.
jumping back to Facebook's following thing, and I'm not bashing Facebook, I'm just saying, like, as a user, this month I'm traveling back and forth to work, so I'm in Durham, North Carolina. So I've been, talking about Durham, North Carolina. So I can't tell you how many fishing charter or fishing guides I've seen pop up for Durham, North Carolina, because I like to fish. So that's what Facebook is feeding me.
Right.
Now, I live in Oldsmar.
Sure.
So you would think it would feed me the stuff from Oldsmar, right? Because it has my zip code, it has
Yeah.
my address, it would tell me everything Oldsmar.
Yeah, no, that's the
It hasn't told me
algorithms.
anything going on in Oldsmar.
Yeah, that's
So-
the
It's
algorithm.
important for us to share too, like, like if because I'm on Facebook too, and I try to share as much as possible because I guess other people are interested, and
Right.
sharing is very important. Us as volunteers to share something that maybe there's an event that I'm not really gonna be attending to, even though it's here at home, but that peers could be interested. So I guess a little bit of us putting together some more sharing might also help when it comes to Facebook.
Sure.
I think, like you said too, your hashtags, people follow hashtags, people.
No, that's
And if,
yeah,
we
that's
could, if we
a
could get
must.
if we could get a killer TikTok, Oldsmar TikTok, that would be.
I think
Yeah.
oh my God, we really have the potential.
Sounds
to
like you
have-
got a couple volunteers, guys, that are willing
I
to
am
help coordinate
so,
that.
I'm so into help on with that.
She's probably on TikTok.
And Ken, we get back on, so our survey, that's some good input. We've got some good input everywhere else, kind of.
I was gonna see if Jackson had some.
Yes, some additional stats. So I said, get us back to our survey. We've talked about some good examples that we need to build on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I agree with Ms. Suda and Amber, and I agree with all of you on some of this stuff. So I would like to first talk about the survey. I think it's an amazing start. Why? Well, we have 309 people who took the survey. I think when it gets to the end, you get some of the juicy stuff, more specific and most informational things that people want in Oldsmar. And just for 309 people taking that, there's a lot of information. So definitely, we need to expand this survey because there are about 15,000 people that live right here in Oldsmar. And that means that-
14,898 or something.
Yeah.
I had to look it up recently.
So now that's 14,800 people around there that haven't taken the survey yet. And that's a lot of information that we could get from those people, and I believe that's very important. So yes, definitely playgrounds. I'd like to go over that. So how people find this? People found this through Facebook, my Oldsmar website.
And that's the input I was asking, if you could
Yes.
provide, like, from you as a teen
Oh
perspective.
yes, of course. I'll get to that.
Okay.
So yes, definitely. People find us through Facebook, through the magazines, and some people don't know about the events. But I looked at this. What are the ages of your household members?
That was like
And
35 to 45.
I saw
is
that a lot of
major.
them are seniors. And first of all, there's not a lot of things we're doing for our
35 to
seniors.
45.
It was
that live here
35
in
to
Oldsmar.
44 was the
No,
biggest.
35 to 44 was the
And
biggest group.
We have all these kids, and I believe that a TikTok account would be awesome, because what makes our Oldsmar experiences more appealing? Videos. We want people to share their experiences with Oldsmar. A Facebook ad won't do anything. But we have a website for our Oldsmar experiences, but we need like content for Oldsmar. We need people actually seeing like what's going on. That's what makes it more appealing. That's how we get our younger audiences. We need to make it more appealing. We need to add more events to that as well. But we need just content for here, making everything awesome. Okay, so current Oldsmar residents, yes, 273 people.
Yeah,
said yes, they're in Oldsmar.
it was mostly.
So the thing I think about that Oldsmar is a place where people can live. It's quiet, it's peaceful, people can go out to the park. But the thing I've noticed for the time I've lived here is that everyone goes outside of Oldsmar to go and live their lives. They live here, but they don't do a lot here. And I find that very important, and that there's a chance where maybe we can do a little bit more. You see all of these, I've looked at every single one of these, and there's opportunities in here, lots of opportunities. So definitely, we need a bigger survey. So my question for all of you is how are we going to get this out? We need better communication in here. And
Are we going to get the survey out or to more people? Is that what you're asking?
yes.
And your ideal goal would be, how do we mail a survey to every person in Oldsmar, right?
Yeah.
Costs us about 30 grand or something to do those kind of things these days, I believe. They will not allow us to do them within the city itself. They have to hire a firm, and that's always been a dilemma. When one was done 15, 20 years ago, out of like a 10-page form, there was one statement on there about cultural arts out of, 100 questions. So that's always been a snag that I agree with. It would be great if we could find some way around it. I think maybe just even continued, repetitive, repeat the survey again, try to reach, a different group this time,
Could
Yeah,
we
this
add it,
definitely wasn't a one-time deal, for sure.
Gotcha, gotcha.
would it be possible to add it to the Oldsmar magazine somehow?
I think a
Oh, that's
statement
that's a
was
good
in
point.
it, wasn't it?
Is, yeah, Experience Oldsmar.
But was the whole survey in it?
No, but I meant to go online and take the survey. I think
Well,
was
I'm trying to
advertised in the
remember, yeah.
magazine, wasn't it?
Was it in it?
You guys check.
Yeah, it was.
If it's not, that's one, when you
Yeah.
gear it up again
But
or
it's something we
something.
can always put in. I mean, it's
Yeah,
our magazine.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it is reaching a lot of Oldsmar homes and a lot better than most other communications, so. I'm with you on that page. I totally understand, and that's what shocks me. It's just like the same thing with the voters. I mean, you get 1,100 to 1,500 voters out of 15,000.
Yeah.
And candidates pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to try to reach all of those out there, and it doesn't change. There hasn't been a magic option to be able to fix that. I will agree. And I think, again, reaching out through community events and stuff is another way to reach a lot of these people that aren't, like I lived on the edge of Oldsmar, and I never got caught up in the voting until I had somebody that I knew was running. And that was when Jim Roniker first started, which was how many years ago? A long time ago. But I had lived here and been in the community, and I didn't pay attention to the voting. I didn't pay attention to the activities. I didn't you know. Plus, there's a whole area around us that is not Oldsmar proper, because I don't believe anybody besides Oldsmar proper gets our magazines, correct?
Right.
So those numbers start increasing exponentially when you start being able to market to the areas that are around us.
People don't know about our elections. People don't know about our events. People don't even know about our survey. And that's what we need to learn.
Well, I think I just volunteered Jackson to be at that tent at the next event with the survey and
You made a good point. People live here, but
Yes.
they work elsewhere. They're gone a lot of
Right.
the time. So how do
Yes,
we?
and that's just that's a really important thing. So
Mhm.
I really want to help all of us figure out how we can do that. And we can take examples from other cities. Like, look at Dunedin. Like, they have a lot of community events. Maybe if we can connect with other city councilors from different cities, look how they do this. I mean, we're not on our own. We're all a part of Pinellas. So that's another thing.
yeah.
Take examples. Yes, I will be there for that event. But yeah, it's important.
What about signage?
Oh my God, you just read my mind. I was gonna say
So you
that.
come into Oldsmar, right? So
Electronic.
you come in and you hit like right past the flea market as you're driving in, right? If you live here and you see a sign there every day, how do we make Oldsmar better? Take the leisure service survey. If there's something there, even if it was in the median there, or there was some way to like flag that sign. When you think about it, Oldsmar's a decent sized piece, but there's only a few main thoroughfares to bring us back in, right?
Right.
So you're either
But you're going
coming
through 'em.
Tampa, Curlew, or 580 into here, right? So if you can get some sort of signage, even if it was just temporary signage that was out there to say, hey, we're trying to make it better. How do we make it better? And you had those, on those three entrances in, maybe that's,
Well, we also have marquees that we can use.
yeah. I'm just thinking, but, so the marquees, I agree. I also think a lot of people don't look at the marquee.
Depends on which
If
marquee
there's a
you're.
big sign,
you're
there's a big
going
sign
past.
in your face
Yeah.
that's all of a sudden popped up, that's not on the normal marquee that you drive by every day, all of a sudden it's noticeable.
Yeah,
Does
you're
the-
running the survey for how long, so you keep
Yeah.
it up for.
Right. Does the city own any land where we could do an actual, like, billboard, but that is the city's and not owned by Clear Channel or Outfront or anything?
Billboards are against the sign code.
They are,
Can we hire a guy with a?
Brought my umbrella to get extra.
Spinner. You want to do it?
What is it like relationship wise? So like at the edge of the property, as you're coming in from Tampa Road with the flea market, the owner of the flea market, if we say, hey, could we put a sign in there? Do you think that guy would have a problem with that? Or is there a relationship there with that we could do that? Or is that legal?
So there's some things that you can use signs for and some that you can't, and the state road FDOT has rules too, but, it would just.
That might be worth
It's not
investigating.
something that we could say right now.
Have our little welcome to Oldsmar
Yep.
sign
Well,
that's
that can say like a little
small.
marquee, like sometimes you don't even see it.
And I think it's,
I know where it's at, but I don't ever look and see what's on it,
and I think you're on a good direction, but we also know Tampa Road holds hundreds of thousands of more people than just Oldsmar as well. So I think the right idea is trying to reach more by main thoroughfares, however that could be done. But it's the same thing. If you have that QR code, that's great, but if you're driving, you can't get the QR code.
Website's there.
Yeah.
The website address is there, and they
Right.
feel
Oh,
compelled
yeah.
enough to say it. If they really want to voice how they feel, they'll write down the website.
And I think that's also part of the problem. We have a lot of people that don't care. They do their own thing in their own place. I mean, I live in a very unusual, everybody knows everybody, we all get together neighborhood. That is not the way it is around all of our communities. Now, the Oldsmar Association is trying to grow that, which is a group you guys should look at going to if you haven't already. They are bringing all the associations together to talk about exactly. I sat with 30 people in a room and said, how many have heard of Miss Suda's Dancers? And like 3 hands went up out of 30. I've been here for 25 years. So I get it, okay? So we're all heading in the right direction, I think, with the suggestions. I think the surveys continued are a good thing to do because we'll continue to reach more people. I think, maybe something at the festivals that, that we have a city presence, with a booth that actually has, flyers and additional information besides just the magazine for our programs and things like that, as well as our surveys. So,
If we were to do the survey again, when will we do it? Like around
do
the
it
same
once a
time
year
next year?
or,
I would suggest it be ongoing.
okay.
Because it's, I think what we do is, it can be ongoing, we can tag results that we've already kind of correlated.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
figure out, we stopped on this date, so now anything from this date to this date is new information. You know,
Is that link
I don't
still
think you need to
live?
limit yourselves to just certain times of the year.
So can you make that link live again and send it back out for us?
Yeah, we can do that.
Especially now
We
with
just
the
had
events
a,
coming up.
we had a deadline, we had a drop dead date so
Yeah.
that we could
Yeah.
compile all
Sure.
of the results, so that they weren't continuing.
But if you give us back that link, also, a lot of us, like I just looked while we were sitting here discussing Facebook. I pulled up Facebook's East Lake Oaks, which is where I live. We have 345 Facebook members in that group, and I posted it 3 or 4 times in there. And I'm on the neighborhood app. I believe you are
Yeah.
too, right? So the neighborhood app. So, and that kind of touches all of the neighborhoods in North Pinellas. So we could all, I could post it, you can post it, we can all be
Yeah,
posting
we all get
in
up on
there.
it.
And I don't know if Harbor Palms, do you
It's
guys
about to.
have, do you guys have a
Yeah.
little Facebook group on Harbor Palms? Not yet, you're working on
I
that?
know, I didn't think about that, no. What's the app, it's the neighborhood app?
So the
is it
neighborhood app is one,
There's
But-
next door.
called? I'm on that one.
or next door, sorry, next door.
Door,
Next
that's
door.
the one I'm
Sorry.
on.
I
Area.
apologize.
Nextdoor Oldsmar is a great device. It's run by a realtor, and I'll tell you, the realtors across the U.S. that came up with that concept are smart marketers because it's a place that you can go and hear all about a community you might move into. They don't allow like yard sales. I wanted to make sure I had approval to put Miss Suda's dancers up there. So I talked to the realtor herself, and there are a lot of platforms like that. I do apologize, folks. I have 17 kids rehearsing next door without me, so I am going to have to wrap up here
they're
and
still there.
go next door. Hopefully, they're all still there. So
Not out playing in the
I
lightning.
apologize. I have to duck out on the end of the meeting, but thank you very much, everybody. Good comments. I think we've got a good thing going. Jackson, thank you for your input and welcome, and I apologize.
Thank you.
What's that? Oh, thank you.
Chip, we're all looking
Well,
forward to
I'm
seeing
here.
you
It's fun.
on the TikTok account tomorrow morning.
I'd like to see that.
Absolutely.
Tag.
Tomorrow
Listen,
morning.
another thing that we could do is when we have these events is send out invitation to influencers. They have massive followings, and if we're having a cool music festival, we could just, invite these influencers just to come talk about it.
I
And
don't think we could find like a BMX influencer.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
I
got
mean,
so
like,
much
you
going
find a
on in
BMX
Oldsmar that
influencer
really just
that
by
lives in
influencers,
Oldsmar.
I think that will grow.
Andre's got 150,000 followers
Oh,
on
well, there we go. What are we doing?
Andre's got a couple of friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so that can definitely help out. I mean, that would help out. Those guys are on that constantly, and it's an adventure sport, so they can get a lot of followers for us. And they're all very happy with the city right now.
Influencers is it's like cheap, it's gonna cost us zero money. We have an event, we send these invitations to these people, they get the word running, get Oldsmar's name out there. What's up?
No, we're on to something.
also there's a few things of like hitting those marks of like using the small businesses you have in Oldsmar and using those business owners to do that. So I'll give you an example. The barber shop, the Royal Barber Lounge right there in front of it's right there in front of Jack Willie's.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Those two of the 3 barbers in there live in Oldsmar. So they care what happens, right? If you go in and you say, hey, can I just put this little sign, or can you just tell people to scan this little QR code if they live in the city? Those guys will do it for you all day for free. It's already just sitting there for them. They don't have, they care what happens in the city, so you kind of explain it to them that way. The Jack Willie's guy, I believe, the owner of Jack Willie's, if I remember correctly, lives in the city of Oldsmar. The guy who owns Tampa Scalping lives in the city of Oldsmar. The guy who owns Zapata's restaurant lives in the city of Oldsmar. So a lot of those little small business owners who are right there, the bicycle guy, if I remember correctly, does live in the city of Oldsmar. You use those small business owners to help get that word out also. So you're not just relying on us
Right.
and hoping that we're enough. You use some of those people who will do it for you.
Definitely gotta be resourceful.
Yeah.
Jackson, you have something?
Get a comment.
Yes, I agree. Influencers are very important when it comes to this. But I'd like to point out something about the BMX track. I'm really glad that it's reopened. I'm glad happy and that the people that know how to ride BMX bikes and all of that are having a wonderful time. But the BMX track is known for something. They have big, like, national competitions there, right? They have all these races and all that, and that is really important because Oldsmar needs to be known for something, right? So they could be known for their theater. They could be known for, like, their special classes there. We could get a lot of that there as well. Yeah, known for the theater. We need to not only have events, but bring influencers here and actually make a name for ourselves as well.
Yep. If we position ourselves correctly, we could grow our TikTok like that because our city has so many things that we could offer. You know, BMX, fishing, dancing. So we all work together. We have content.
Do you have somebody who's running your social media now, Chip?
We have a communication marketing and arts person who kind of oversees our social media. John has a staff person that helps to create the different posts that we do. It depends what the post is and what it's related to between the two who does that. But yes, we do have somebody who manages our website, the whole 9 yards. Yes.
All right. I just was curious because content, the hardest part about doing anything like that is content.
Yeah.
Is you need content. But the thing with that is, any of your guys out during the day could be creating that content and driving that content. So if a guy's going over and he sees, say you have a maintenance guy going over to check on something over at Orioles Park, right? And he sees some guy out there fishing and he's pulling in a fish, take a quick 30-second video, just a quick 30-second video, and send that in. And whoever's taking care of your content can take it from there. They'll know how to do that.
Do we have any liability there if we're filming people?
Well, I mean, ask.
I mean,
But if they're in
okay.
public, if they're in a public.
Yeah.
If they're in the public domain, it's fine, okay.
Yeah.
think
But I mean, that 30 seconds, you know, your guys are here all day long. Leisure services trucks drive around all day long. There's tons of content they could find on a daily basis. The sunrise, the sunset, the freshly cut grass. You know what I mean? As they're driving, hey, look at this park we just cut. Looks fantastic. Come on down and enjoy it. 30 seconds, in and out.
Yeah, and
Good
that's
to
the
go.
beauty of it, that we just want short stuff. We don't want, content that is,
Pretty.
an hour long. We just want to the point.
30 minute or 30-second to 1 minute clips all day long.
Because we got no time.
Yeah.
Make a contest out of it somehow and have people sending them into it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun, yeah.
Yeah, like, exactly, and we could promote that in our events.
The most shares.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way it's less work for the city and it's fun. People are always sharing, their stuff on social media. We can even reach out to those people already sharing and say, hey, can we, I said, okay, we get permission to use your footage for the city.
Yeah, if you type in #Oldsmar into
Right.
Instagram or into TikTok, you're gonna get a plethora of videos or reels or images that people have taken. It's a simple message over, hey, can we use this for our, we're from the city, we want to use this on our city platform. I'm sure that you'd be surprised how many people would let you do that.
And
We've had photo contests before and things like that, and where people would send in, and so we've captured some of that stuff, and that's run through the communications and marketing and our arts coordinator.
Yeah.
So we've had some of those.
You can use it to promote events.
Yeah.
But not only do that, but you can give people an overview of those events. It's one thing to advertise it, it's another thing to show people that maybe didn't get a chance to go, like how it turned out.
Exactly, yeah.
And also, you can collaborate with businesses. You can share grand openings, because as a community, we have the obligation to help our local businesses as well.
Yeah.
Owned by residents in Oldsmar. You talk about all those people in the barbershop, maybe they're having a discount. You can work with them, and you can get people making that revenue like that for Oldsmar as well. So,
Who is that one lady? Her name Q or something? I know she's interviewed people like Felicia Donnelly, and like she does things like that, so she might be a good one.
Quinn Trujillo.
Yes, okay.
Good job, Amber. See, this is the most discussion we've had on a topic in many moons.
One other thing I wanted to add.
Good job, Amber.
Can we subscribe for text updates? Would that be something to do? for events?
What's your
Yeah,
question?
the city of Tampa has that. They have this
Yeah.
text alert where they
Get a
text you
text.
for
People see
everything.
that.
Like if they're gonna do
Get a text
Gasparilla, right,
from City of Oldsmar saying, hey, don't miss out on the fishing slam Sunday.
right.
Yeah, if we subscribe to text, something
And
like
it's not
that.
only good for events, but also in case of weather, hey, this street is flooded, oh boy, this
There is.
accident
There
on
was
this. We get that.
a text
I'm
alert.
signed up.
Pinellas got that
I got
emergency.
Pinellas, but City of Tampa has one
I've
too,
got that
because
too.
I used to live in Tampa before, and I still get them, which surprises me. Like, hey, flooding in South Tampa. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
not
there's a
even
program
knowing.
called Everbridge, and that'll send out text alerts, but we don't, I believe the philosophy is that we don't overuse it for events and things like that, because if something were to need to be, messaged out, we don't want it to get lost in a
Yeah.
sense.
So then
You don't
leisure
wanna flood
services,
people.
then Parks and Rec or leisure services or whatever you guys are under should probably have their own text alert that would be out. That
we
way
do-
you're not dealing with the emergency.
Right,
right.
So you're not interfering with that. But then the person has the opportunity to hit, they can type stop
Right.
Right.
and now all of a sudden
We're
it
dealing with all
stops.
it now,
But if they sign up
politicians.
for it,
We currently use an app called Remind. We used
Okay,
it,
yeah.
we used it for our camp. It was
Yeah.
really popular.
but if I
We
don't
also
use
use
the
it for
app Remind,
A
it
lot of
doesn't
teachers
work.
use that one.
Well, what I'm getting to is that we use something right now in a specialized form where it's program specific, like hockey. Soon it'll be BMX. And right now we used it for our camp.
Yep.
So maybe we look at something like that on a
That's-
broader
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it brought,
Yeah,
like,
something in it, yeah. Like,
text
I
wise,
just think
if there was
that's
if
what
there was a
people are looking
link
at the most.
that somebody could go to and say, hey, sign up for Oldsmar events,
Yeah.
text such and
alerts
such,
for Oldsmar
text
events, yeah.
375 to this number, right?
Yeah.
Then they are now in control of seeing what comes to their phone, right?
I think it's
So,
doable. It's just another topic. It's just another
Yeah.
branch of what we're
Yeah.
already doing.
Right, but I think that they get that opportunity to make that decision of, hey, I want to see what comes in and out of my phone.
Right, and that's even fun. I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want a text on Friday saying, hey, or Thursday, don't forget,
Yeah,
Friday
moving
nights
apart,
are, oh,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I didn't
Right.
think of anything, but I'm
And you could advertise it like, hey, tired of not knowing what's going on? Text da 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 da. We'll keep you updated.
And that's easy
you
to
know?
send to your
Right.
friends. Copy
Yeah,
that message.
Yeah, I think
send it.
that,
Hey,
that
we're
one's
doing
easy
this.
enough. We, like John said, we just kind of used it as,
Like, you can just tell them to add this number to your contacts and sign up for that, and they'll get it just like that. You can do it for elections, you can do it for things concerning weather, and I have a weather app, I have the Weather Channel on my phone. I get all of these, like, weather alerts telling me, like, oh yeah, there's a Saharan dust cloud going over Florida. You might be getting hazy sunsets, so we're gonna have this event here in Oldsmar where you can go out and take pictures on the pier. Like, you can do so many things with that. And
yeah, like I said, as John kind of alluded to, we utilize that for we're doing that for specialty programs, but that's certainly something that we can easily add. And again, like you said, Kyle, you opt in, you opt out. It's
Yeah.
Right.
not
Yeah.
pushing.
Yeah, you're not pushing people
Yeah.
in.
And you'll get so many people, like so many people, oh, I didn't know, 118 people, I didn't know.
If you want to
And
reach,
those are the same people that are 100, 200 people on Facebook.
in all honesty, if you want to reach anybody nowadays, go to the mall and stand there for 5 minutes and count the people who don't have their phone in their
Right.
hand. Seriously. I noticed it. I was at the mall the other day with my son walking, and I was like, everybody is literally walking around.
Yeah, they're zombies.
like
We're all
this.
zombies.
Maybe
They're
we'll have our
walking
phones out
through the mall,
now.
and everybody is like this.
And they're shopping on Amazon.
While they, but so the way you're going to get to people and grow anything is through this. This is the new drug. This is where people are where you're gonna get to people at. So everything that you guys are thinking of long term,
Yeah.
that's your solution.
it makes it easy, because when you're at, like, big events, maybe there's a concert or a festival, you can go up on stage and say, sign up at this number, and you'll get messages for all
Yeah.
these new events that are coming up.
You
wanna
put a
make it
sign
easy
out
for
outside of the event as they walk in.
Right.
Like Oldsmar
Yeah.
Right
Day.
on the stage.
You put a sign,
Huh?
right? You
Right
put
by the
3 or
sta-
4
yeah.
of
One at
those
a
yard
time,
signs out
folks,
there.
one at a time, please.
Hard to keep
So much
track.
excitement.
Go ahead, Joe. You're up.
Oh, no, I'm good, I'm good.
We're all excited. We're like, yes.
But if we were to put yard sign style up with, hey, text this code to this number and get added to the events list, Very simple, very, very simple. And somebody like me, I don't check an app every single day, but if I get a text, I usually look at every single text that comes in. So if I see something on a Thursday, and I'm like, hey, there's an event coming up Friday, or there's an event coming up Saturday, let's do it. You send it out 24 hours before the event, you'd be surprised. I think the attendance would jump quite a bit based purely on that reminder.
Those are good suggestions.
Does the city own any variable message boards?
We have one right now. I think Public Works is going to be getting one next year. So we'll have two. We had utilized them for some of the events down in the park, more or less for traffic notification.
Okay.
The hard part is I made a conscious decision to move the one that was down at Ari Olds because it's right across from somebody's house.
Oh,
They have a yellow light flashing in their window for like.
No, I completely understand that, but something like close to, Canal Park, you get plenty of room there to set that up either direction, and you can get a message out that way, and it's fairly, I mean,
Yeah,
that's.
there's
so-
one. I think there's one right now set up
one on
out here on
State and,
State Street and 580.
Yeah, and it's all solar probably, so it really doesn't cost us
No,
anything to do
yeah,
it. So
correct.
it's a matter of changing it every once in a while.
All right, let me wrap up the survey part of the agenda here. Just an observation that question 8, I was encouraged to see that only 8% of the people thought our events were too expensive. I thought that was a good sign. And I don't know what we could do, but Jackson pointed out that there were 309 people that took the survey. The only question that was answered by everybody was the last one.
Yeah.
Are you a resident?
Yes.
I don't know what we can do about question 8, 127 people skipped it. 145 people skipped question 6. I don't know, I'm just pointing that out. 69 people skipped question 5, and 93 people skipped question 3. I don't know what we can do to give a prize if you answer every question. Being sarcastic,
Maybe it was
but
too many questions.
yeah, I don't know if it was too many or just a thought,
I think
John.
with surveys, we have surveys like this that allow you to give just free-form answers.
Yeah,
A lot of times, if I don't have an answer, I'm not going to answer it.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that's like a yes or a no question without the option of a yes or a no, basically.
almost like a ballot.
Yeah, and I didn't see any, I do a lot of surveys. I didn't see anything in this survey that jumped out at me that said, it wasn't presented correctly, it was confusing. I didn't see any of that. I did take note of what you did say, Ken, about some of these questions were answered and why weren't they? I don't have a reason why. I don't have anything that I want to see in the city that's built that's not already here, so I'm not going to answer it.
For example, for example, question number 8, where it says, if you or your family do not attend, so maybe the 127 that skipped it, say, I attend the event, so I
Yeah.
don't need to answer that one.
Probably
So,
can't answer
yeah,
it.
look at that
Also,
too.
yeah.
I'm obviously attending the event. That's how you got me.
Yeah, that's why I'm not.
Maybe that should be one of the answers. Yeah.
So I just want to ask the board this, or you guys this question. Did you see anything that surprised you?
No.
Did anything jump out at you and you were like,
I felt like most of these answers, we already have these events, and it's just kind of saying like, oh, yes, I like them. There wasn't too many that jumped out. They're like new, unique ideas.
I like
My
the farmer's
opinion.
market. That sound cool.
I got some, let me share with you a couple of observations that I had. Just bear with me for a second here. So the top 5 answers to question number 2. Question number 2 was, what activities do you or your family most enjoy? What do you think the number 1 answer to that was?
It was hiking, walking, or
It was
biking.
hiking. What do you think was the number 3 answer?
I might have it.
Boating,
boat test.
boating, kayaking, and canoeing.
Yeah.
So just jumping ahead, because I know your time is valuable, later on question 5, the question was asked, get the question right here. What are the most needed improvements that could be made to our existing parks? Number 1 answer was, Tatiana? The number 1 answer.
The parks,
Yeah.
the boating, it has to do with water.
Boat launches.
Yes, okay.
Kayaking launch, yeah.
They want add more?
Paddleball, they want more. So, or paddle boarding, I mean. So there's a lot of things jumped out at me that I was like, the parks I expected.
Yeah.
The little things like that. Playgrounds I expected. Bicycling I expected. but there were just a lot of things, if you really dig deeper, especially on the programming side, that we were able to garner a lot of real quality information. So you may not see it on the surface, but your survey is going to be paying off dividends for us for the next couple of months, for sure.
Great.
Love it.
Thank you for everybody's input on that. Very good. New business. Anybody? Tatiana, let's start down. Any new business?
Well, we had our summer camp. I don't know if that applies as new business. We finished last week.
Let's combine new business with board comments, whatever you want to. Either or, both.
Yeah.
Yeah. John?
Can I bring up something for new business?
Sure. Why not?
This is more or less a comment. It's more just informational, but it's part of a grant process that we're attempting to go through. So next year in the budget, we have proposed a playground renovation project at the Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve. We're working together with Operations Jack's Village to design a playground that's more oriented, or a space that's more oriented towards teens. Part of that space would include this renovation project. The kids from Operation Jack's Village held meetings to select pieces that they would like to see. And we've been talking to an architect who is willing to work with them and us to develop the space. So it's more like the playground is more like a parkour type course. It's an active type area. So we are working on a FERDAP grant, which is the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant, to see if we could possibly get funding through that avenue. Most likely we would request $70,000 to match the city's contribution and Operation Jack's Village contribution. So this is more informational. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So
That's great.
that's
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We used to park a lot over the summer.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
Ken?
Well, I just want to say hats off to the city. I was at the BMX track. There was a lot of people there. The feedback was great. City staff was awesome. The hot dogs went, the waters went. Everybody was just very surprised how good it came out. The investment's going to pay off. Definitely know that. A couple things on that smaller hill. We got to make some modifications down at the bottom there.
Already fixed it.
Yeah, we were talking to Jason about that already, but I just want to congratulate you guys. You did a really good job, and thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And if you're not aware, we do have the Gator Nationals event is coming up October 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then, talking with USA BMX, we are going to host a second Gators event in February. I believe it's the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Also talking with USA BMX, we will be hosting most likely a state series race the weekend before Gators. So we will have a back-to-back huge February coming around here, but it should do very well for the local economy and tourism, because most people a lot of people will be coming in and staying that entire week in this area.
Stay for both events.
For both
Stay
events.
From
Right.
Thursday to Sunday.
Or the following
Or the
week. Like, it could be a 10-day stay for some of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Who's gonna Airbnb their
I'm
house?
about to say. Where can I stay for 10 days? I can figure this out.
Not a horrible idea.
I'm gonna go live in my RV.
If you guys didn't know it, Felicia won the world championship.
Yes.
I did,
We know.
yes.
Here in Oldsmar, so
Yes.
we've got a lot of
We're getting ready to
talent
make
here.
some kind of sign or something to stick out to the official
Okay.
home of.
She's a good girl. She was at my house right after we opened up Oldsmar and had a lot of fun getting to know her.
That's awesome.
Joe?
No, I think a productive meeting. I think it was good feedback.
Yes, so you have this in your packet.
Yeah.
My friend Kelly O'Brien, she sent me this, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to maybe try something like this, lunch with leisure services. Maybe we can get this on the agenda for November to see if there's a day we would like to pick to do something similar. And just wanted to have that discussion then, if you guys would like to do something like that.
Ann, can you
And we
throw that
could-
on the agenda? Okay.
I need to make a motion? or-
Uh,
No, I'll add it on.
Okay.
She's got it.
Okay.
Pam?
No, well,
Is
just
there a
still
time of
thinking
year
about
you
our.
were thinking about doing that?
Well, I thought we could just come back in November and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Then what would be good, or if
Okay.
anyone else has any other ideas. And also, hats off to Jackson this weekend. I saw him perform twice. He performed someone very nice and then someone very mean. He took a girl by pigtails, swung her around in Matilda. Could not believe that. So phenomenal actor.
Oldsmar Theater off the ground.
There you go.
Fun for energy.
And my daughter was also in that play, so it was good.
Comments, new business, Jackson?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone here on the board. I think this is a great start. So cheers to everyone for getting more on this survey. And thank you to our friends at the city. Thank you for working with Operation Jack's Village and being understanding and helpful. Thank you.
Steve? Steve?
No, I really don't have anything to say. It was very, very good meeting. I'm just kind of taking in the different ideas that were being thrown around, and I've got a couple of ideas of my own, but I'm going to keep them to myself right now.
This is one of the longer meetings.
Feel free to bloviate whenever you want. One little tidbit on the BMX, maybe announcements or whatever could have been done from one location. It almost sounded like there was an open mic over on the far side and a guy was having discussion, and we didn't know if that was supposed to be heard by everybody or.
There actually was, there's a wireless system that was out there, I literally replaced it today.
Okay. Oh, wow. Just if it could have been done, maybe from the center of the track, or, I don't know. Just-
Yeah, the range was deficient, so John's addressed that today with a mic with stronger tuning.
And one final thing, a resident asked me about the trail behind Gull Air that goes along the canal. He says there's a lot of grass growing into the asphalt. Is that detrimental to the trail, or could that be looked at?
I'll have, Alexis can be here tonight, so I'll mention that to him and he can take a
I
look.
think it was specifically along the canal part. Okay. All right, anybody else? Anything else? Okay. Thank you for all of the input. You guys went through 4 legal pads writing there, I noticed.
Memorial Day run was fun too. I think that was the last time I saw you, actually. The Heroes, the Memorial Day run.
Oh, on our heroes?
Yeah.
Okay, next meeting will be November 14th. Motion for adjournment? Motion. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So be it.